Talking about the future of TV, advanced TV, what's the role of the social graph in terms of TV planning? How do you guys see it? What's the opportunity? What are you doing there?
There's just so much there. I mean, you're talking about the biggest behavioral data set ever amassed, and marketers are just scratching the surface now. There's so much there when you're talking about real observed behavior, not what the average 18 to 24-year-old male does, but actually the engagers of your brand. What do they like? What are their interests? What books they're reading? What shows they're watching? What recipes they're looking at? What celebrities they're interested in? There's just so much for marketers to truly understand their consumers, and it's in a real-time nature. It's not something you mine at the beginning of the year and then you use for your year planning. As the seasons change, consumer preferences change, consumer interests change, and so for marketers to really tap into that and understand at any given moment what consumers and most importantly their core customers are thinking about, it's just great for messaging, for media placement. There's just really a lot there, and like I said, we're just scratching the surface.
So, explain a little bit, like Facebook, for example, has this massive amount of information, and you partner with them. So, could you kind of explain the information that you can get out of Facebook or Twitter for that, and you know, the value of that, a little bit, how that works, and why it's of value to the buy side?
Sure. So Facebook and Twitter both offer kind of a fire hose to their anonymous engagement data. This is publicly available engagement data about who's commenting, who's sharing, what's connecting. And so using that information, like I said, marketers can mine a lot of interesting insights, but it's such in a big raw form, you have to process it somehow. So companies like ours, we're developing the ways and the algorithms to process that data so the marketers can not just use it, but they can pass it through their agencies, through their partners, so they can tap into that data as well.
Cool. So explain a little bit how that's, you know, in a practical or anecdotal fashion.
Sure. Well, for example, sometimes when we walk into our clients who are TV marketers, we'll bring a list of the 100 programs that they're advertising in most, and also bring a list of the 100 TV shows that their engagers are most engaging with. And it's very interesting to see that on many occasions, less than 50%, sometimes less than 20% of the TV program that their engagers, their customers are engaging with, that they're not advertising on. So that's kind of a shocker to see, okay, this is the kind of programming that really is engaging your customer base. Why aren't you advertising there?
And what about the whole notion of the second screen? And I know you monitor what people are watching through what had used to be called Civolution, using data of viewership data in real time, and how that works.
Well, that's also a fairly new data set. This kind of second by second understanding of how viewers are consuming media on television. Are they skipping commercials? Are they fast forwarding through commercials? Are they changing the channel during your commercials? This is really interesting data for TV marketers to understand how their messages are resonating with consumers, and are they engaging consumers? I think it's kind of like the viewability piece in digital. Are they even seeing your commercials? I think this is a really important signal that TV marketers will start to mine. In terms of the second screen, this behavior of simultaneous usage or second screen usage while they're watching TV, that's also a very important behavior that TV marketers need to monitor. If you look today at most of the research on how the average adult spends their media time, you'll see if you add up all the numbers, it generally exceeds 120%. How can that be? That's because people are consuming 2 channels at a time. I know for myself, I may be playing a video game, have a sports event on another screen on mute, and then listening to a podcast or listening to music on my mobile phone. And that's not just an outlier, that's a common occurrence several nights a week. I might not even be watching linear TV for days. I might be watching streaming services and other things.
Cool. And Josh, finally, what are your hopes for 4C in terms of being here at the conference, speaking to advanced TV people? What do you hope their takeaway is from what you guys do?
Well, for most television marketers, that they're seeing how TV advertising is evolving. they're realizing they need to adapt. So they're looking for ways to do that. Social data provides an interesting outlet for TV marketers to kind of pull these insights, especially the way that we process it through our affinity analysis. So for the TV marketers that are just now looking and beginning their search for how other channels can help fuel their insights and fuel their results, then we're here to talk to them about that. However, the most forward TV marketers that I speak to are already interested and already see that there's a there with social and affinity data. They're just looking for the right partner that can bring that information to them, and they're just kind of looking what's out there.